Okay, welcome back to E-Managerial websites. This is the area that auditor need to be obtained during the pre-planning stage. So this is just for example. I would like to share with you how can we obtain a sufficient document before we conduct the audit. So this initiative auditor must play smart how to obtain the documentation related to the our audit objective and audit scope. So some document we cannot direct, some document we cannot direct obtain from the auditee. For example, like SLA or NDA agreement. For example, you are going to conduct the audit related to the IT project management. So you may obtain all vendor agreement documentation for contract, something like that. Both SLA and NDA sign off, non-disclosure agreement sign off. So sometimes when you access to the critical area like relate to the legality risk, so you may go indirectly to other department to get their support. For example, you may engage the legal department to obtain the SLA related to the IT project matter. So let's discuss together. This sample just highlight what we need to be obtained from the auditee before you conduct the audit fieldwork. One, for example, like previous information security risk assessment. This is very important. So you need to obtain what the IT department already conducted last year or last 2 years to check whether the information security risk assessment is properly take action up on the mitigation plan. The second is a previous IT risk assessment. This is a focus on only IT risk assessment. And this one, we talk about the information security risk assessment. So these two things are quite similar, but one is focused on information security risk, and this is for IT risk assessment. The number three, we also obtain the previous audit report. So the auditor will determine or re-examine on the previous audit report whether the item is can recurring or can reopen, or some item we need to understand the post-audit correction, whether the management willing to rectify on time or not, whether the management is has ownership or sponsorship to handle the risk that picked up by other independent reviewers. And number four is any previous regulatory or framework driven assessment. This is also assessment for the organization wide to assess whether the proper framework and regulatory is required or not. Like we use Saban-Oxley or ISO 27001. And number five is a previous pen test report, penetration testing report. This is very important. So when we engage the third party or vendor to conduct the system vulnerability, we can say the pen testing. So we will address what is the control gap present in the pen test report in terms of security risk or in terms of security breach or control requirement. So when you look at the pen test report, so you will understand what is the technical part that cannot fulfill the requirement, what is a majority risk that can be exposed, something like that. The number six is a previous vulnerability assessment. This report just similar to the what I mentioned earlier. This focus on vulnerability only. And number 7, we should obtain the current version from security policy, security standard or procedure, what the organization need to be comply. So when you obtain the policy and procedure and also standard framework, so you will understand what auditor need to be map the risk before we come up with the audit plan. And number 8, we also obtain the disaster recovery plan and also a business contingency plan. Why we need this document? Because this document very important. When we focus on full HA, full high availability, so we need to understand about the system recoveries. So we need to understand the particular area that concern during the disaster recovery exercise. So when you obtain disaster recovery plan, you will understand what is the ability of the plan can be recovery during the crisis period. So we will discuss this area on others video because it's too big. So we need to discuss separately. And number 9, we should request a copy of the business impact analysis. This is a component of BCM, business continuity management. So for the enterprise, they must have the BCM to strategize the business, to ensure the business can readiness during the crisis period, so the business can assume after the crisis has been recovered. So this document auditor need to be obtained because relate to the system failure. So we need to obtain the BIA, whether the BIA properly conducted by BCM team. Number 10, assess inventory. Assess inventory is a key fixed asset environment that auditor need to obtain what mentioned in the hardware and software. For example, license management, hardware and software and online, hardware and software and or support by vendor, fixed asset movement or fixed asset the disposal. This is whatever that you need to obtain if your scope of work related. And number 11, you also obtain the IT and information security metric. This is a metric that we map from all components related to the IT security matters. And number 12, you also obtain the facility plan. Facility security plan meaning that, for example, we need to understand what is a capacity planning for the data center facility item. For example, data center 5 year more, what is happen within the facility based system like smoke detector, like humidity detector, like fire alarm, like M200, something like that. It's an area that we need to understand what is IT planning for improvement on the facility based system within the data center or server room. Number 13, you definitely need the organizational chart and contact list for all related party, both internal and external. External, sometimes we have a project with vendor, so you need to obtain the contact list from authorized engineer, from third party or from vendor, and organizational chart. You need to obtain the current version, the latest approval for the official org chart. You need to determine who is a responsibility from one unit to other unit and how to escalate in case of error, in case of emergency case. So the org chart will present you what is IT operation work. And number 14, you also obtain a previous security pen test and debrief. This is related the other item that I mentioned already, so we can move. Number 15, the security program plan and roadmap. This is something related to the security development plan. So auditor also obtain this plan to understand what is ongoing activity from the management role, what is activity that need to be done by particular IT engineer or IT security in terms of IT security planning and roadmap. So other supporting document you should obtain, right? And the last one, very important, IT security hardening guide or checklist. So this one is you consider very important on the security gap for the technical part. You need to obtain the security hardening to fulfill your audit evaluation process when you are on site. Like you need to validate what is a security gap or control gap in the process or in the area that engineer need to be performed. For example, you need to audit on the Windows server. So you need to understand what is the potential gap and vulnerability in the system. So the organization need to establish with the standard requirement like security hardening to harden what the server can be protect and prevent from the outside attack or insider attack. So the security hardening very important for the IT security function. They need to fulfill the gap for all security loophole from the every system and every application that relate to security gap. So I need to go through other items related to the document gathering before the conduct the audit assignment. Like number one, I already mentioned. Number two is a list of IT JD job description. If you conduct the ITGC, meaning IT General Control, so you need to obtain the job description for all related IT person. So this is very important. So you can understand what their role and what is their function to support the particular unit or particular area. This is to support the risk of the situation of UT. So you obtain this document very important. And number three, list of IT project pending and strategy planning. Like I mentioned in the previous paper, list of IT project pending. Very important is you cover on the IT project management audit. So you need to obtain all pending project. For example, in the previous year, they conduct 5 projects. So they definitely have a 5 project plan, project activity. So you will engage the project manager to obtain the IT project pending. What is a pending and what is a root cause and how to mitigate the risk during the project pending. Project pending can be referred to the timeline overrun. Project pending can refer to the new direction from the senior management to pending based on the priority of the project. And number four, you also obtain the list of vendor. What are the current vendor and what are the previous vendor and what are the ongoing on the future vendor that the IT team need to engage the vendor to conduct the project. So you need to obtain the document both on the SLA agreement and also NDA agreement. And number five, you need to obtain the list of operating system for respective server, both on production server and DR server, alternative side. So if they have many platform of the operating system, you need to obtain both a client side and server side. And number six, you need to obtain all the lists related to network device or server farm or connectivity or power system, facility document, related method and locate based on production server and DR side. And number 7, you need to obtain the list of hardware and software. This is similar to the IT fixed asset or inventory. Number 8, list of product license and documentation. So this is very important. This is very critical that exposed to the software piracy and lead to legality risk or reputation damage. Is the control environment is not effective. So you need to obtain the list of product license from the custodian, from the people in charge. If your scope relate to the IT fixed asset management or IT inventory management. And number 9, you need to obtain the document related to the IT fixed asset. Number 8 and number 9 is just one related matter. Is an area that related as a similarity. So number 10 relate to the change management policy and procedure. This is very important. In the IT operation, in the IT department, for any process cannot bypass the change management or change control. So you need to obtain the policy and procedure and also standard operating procedure, or we can say user guide or user manual. So you need to obtain a policy and procedure. Number 11, you need to obtain all IT request form. If the IT department have 20 form or 30 form, you need to obtain all. So you need to identify which is the form and they have the proper structure, the form, the information in the form is fulfill on the mandatory field, and form have the version and form have the particular description and consistency of practice. What we discuss we need to obtain. So sometimes form can indicate what is lapses in the activity that between IT and business unit. They communicate on the access. So the item 11 is can be obtained if you consider is very important. So number 12, we talking about the IT security request form. Is a just related matter. Okay, we can move to the data center facility document. If we talking about data center facility document, we refer to the document that we place on the data center and disaster recovery site. For example, like emergency evacuation procedure or power assumption or UPS or power supply or genset, something like that, or alarm system or alarm trigger, whatever that relate to the user guide that the engineer can understand or related person access to the area, so they can take the manual to understand what is the facility guide in within the data center environment. Number 14, we talk about we talking about the document and planning and scheduling of the data of the IT disaster recovery plan and ECP and process. Okay, we can move because this item if you want to cover, okay, you can obtain if your scope relate to disaster recovery plan. Number 15 relate to you need to obtain latest update on network topology or network diagram. You need to obtain both physical and logical. Sometimes the engineer provide you only the physical network topology, so you cannot understand about the IP address and subnet. Also, sometimes engineer need to be hidden some critical area. For example, when you see the topology, you will reflect automatically how can network can scale up. How can we change IP without other impage, other module or major impage? So the network topology is very important. When you obtain, you need to understand about the IP and subnet and also the redundancy structure. What network from one area to area can route together, can have the redundancy structure, something like that. Number 16 is a normal, so you need to obtain IT policy, procedure, guideline, or SOP. So you need to obtain, right? So number 17, like a compliance checklist on information security. This checklist can be happen during the deployment or pre-deployment related to the IT security concern. Number 18, we also obtain the checklist on standard user application installation. When this particular area support the helpdesk management. So when the IT deliver the workstation or laptop or desktop to the business unit, business user, so they need to make sure they comply with the standard checklist for user installation application checklist. So you need to obtain both, one from server part and one from user part. This is a server perspective. This is a user perspective. Number 20, security patch management documentation and also it checklist. So this is very important for the patch management. Patch can be different meaning. One is a data patching and another one is a security patching. If we talk about the security patching, we refer to the server, we refer to the firmware. If we're talking about the data patching, we refer to the backend. So the developer will trigger in the actual statement and then patch into the backend, change the parameter, change the field in the database. So the patching can be different way. Be careful, right? So item number 21, you need to obtain the DA letter. So DA letter very important, delegation authority. This letter will present to the risk what is the authorized person, what is unauthorized person. For example, in case of principal custodian is not available at the moment, so what is an alternative person or designated person that we design in the paper that we approve from the IT steering committee. So the DA need to be up to date and need to be defined properly for the delegation of authority. Item 22, we also obtain the IT memo letter. IT memo very important also when the management have direction or some approval or get approval for IT assumption or get approval for budget execution or costing, something like that. It's mean a case by case. IT manager or IT head need to be obtain the approval from committee or from management throughout the IT memo letter. So number 23, we talk about the incident handling procedure. So this area you need to be obtained also when you audit cover the recovery plan or disaster recovery plan or relate to the incident or crisis handling process. So number 24, you need to obtain the log of the system administration, irregular log or exception or investigation or suspicious report. This area you need to be signed whether the IT custodian need to be regularly conduct the reviewing of the system administration log or user log or something like that related to the critical log. Item 25, you should obtain the IT outsourcing policy and procedure because this area relate to the IT project methods. And number 26, also obtain the regulatory and external audit report is any. Number 27, you also obtain the IT register report and sales assessment review program. to understand what the risk can be addressed from the management or from the IT department by themselves. Because this report very important, we need to accommodate, we need to facilitate from the risk department whether the risk register is sufficient and proper record. So the mitigation plan within this report also tracked by the management and by the particular officer in charge. So you need to obtain this document also. And number 28, hand-on policy or handover policy or takeover policy. You need to obtain the policy and procedure and record. For example, you assess the IT project, the mega IT project that have many stakeholders. The project, for example, project A, they have five stakeholders. So you need to obtain what the ownership from stakeholder 1 to stakeholder 2 or from 2 to 3, from 3 to 4. So you need to obtain the document acknowledgement between handover process or takeover process from stakeholder 1 to other stakeholder. So this is just a document to prove whether the acknowledgement process from one stakeholder to other stakeholder. It's a lot, so we almost complete. So let's finish. Item 29, the list of application development lifecycle document, is very important, like a framework related to the development lifecycle. So we need to comply with the SDLC framework, software development lifecycle. And number 13, you also obtain the rule or restrict rule from the network management area. This is we talk about the core network device restriction rule. So you need to obtain a rule. What is other rule that they apply currently, like VPN, like a proxy, like a checkpoint, something like that. So you need to obtain the rule base and whole configuration record. This is related to the change management. If they change 10 times, so they need to have document for 10 record, 10 sample. They make sure that the change management is proper. They have the change control and version control. So you need to obtain a configuration record for any activity related to the change. Number 31 relate to the user acceptance test, UAT record, procedure, and scenario. Scenario, you need to emphasize what is a scenario defined by IT or defined by a business unit. Scenario, sometimes if we did not go in deep into the scenario defined by IT or business unit, so you cannot analyze what is a scenario. What is scenario? Is a happy scenario or worse scenario? Or we can say the scenario that test by tester, they test on the positive way. How about the negative test? So the auditor will to determine, will to assess whether scenario defined are appropriate or not. This is very important. And the number 32, user access matrix document and record. This is very important related to the access management. User access matrix document can map for every access, for every privilege on the system, for every application. So the user access and user privilege, we need to map into the worksheet to understand their role, their responsibility, to understand the need to know basis, to understand need to have basis below the standard requirement. So you need to obtain this document definitely. So the item 33, the database diagram, rule and authentication document. And number 34, media and backup, policy and procedure, scheduling, rule and restoration. This one related to the data retention and backup and restoration. This is related to the file achievement policy and procedure, how to maintain the file. This is very important. If you want to manage the file, we can say the data governance, to govern the data within the organization from all departments. So we need to understand about the procedure and policy that relate to the data retention. Number 16, this is already mentioned. Number 37, we need to obtain also for endorsement from the committee or from board or director, how frequency the policy and procedure can be endorsed by who, by when, and we need to obtain a framework of policy and procedure. This is a high level only. So we need to discuss separately in the IT governance section. The item 38, we're talking about the lost event data report. This is very important. If you need to analyze what is a crisis during the failure point or during the attack, whether in internal or external attack. So for any system failure from attack or from negligence from the staff, lead to financial loss, so the IT need to calculate the loss and report into the LED. LED stands for loss event data report. We calculate the cost or loss from related matter or not related matter, direct cost or indirect cost. For example, you have connectivity problem in the other branch, so will affect 20 outside ATM, something like that. One ATM you earn 1,000 per month, and you lose one day, how much? And you multiply, you take the one side of outside ATM, you multiply at amount of the crisis area, so you will get the exact cost. So this is related to the IT risk matter. So we will discuss separately, right? The last item we need to obtain also related to the latest user signation or the last login record, AA appliance. AA appliance refer to authentication, authorization, and accounting. A for is in terms of financial, we refer to the accounting. For the IT audit, we refer to accountability. It means that responsibility. So this item we need to obtain the last login record from the resignation activity. For example, the last day of staff that access to the core system, his or her last day at 30 May. So we need to obtain the last transaction that they access, to measure whether the IT already revoked or disabled the account or not, relate to the staff movement or staff resign or staff termination. So all the document that we discuss right now, very important that we need to obtain before we conduct the audit fieldwork. This document we can conduct the data mining, we can map the process, we can map the risk into the audit manual. Okay, thank you for watching my video. Please like and share this video. Okay, thank you so much.